Hi, everybody. I'm here today with my friend Jeffrey Sykes and our dear friend Carmit Zori, who lives in Brooklyn. And she is one of our treasured Bach Dancing and Dynamite Society artists who comes almost every summer. And she's a violinist, as I said. And well, she's been holed up at home in Brooklyn with her family, which includes her daughter Amalia, who's a splendid pianist. In fact, she was going to be a Dynamite Factory artist last summer, but of course, she got a fantastic offer from Kneisel Hall. So off she went and we lost her. But we're going to get her back today in a short performance with her mom. And welcome, Carmit. Great to see you.
Nice seeing you. Nice to see you, Jeffrey.
Great to see you.
Tell us about your last couple of months in Brooklyn. How's it been and how have you been? What have you been doing?
First of all, it's, I think, more than even 2 months, and it feels like maybe 2 days. So it's a strange thing that, I mean, to me, it feels like the days go by really fast, which is an odd thing because I'm not performing and I'm home most of the time. Getting myself out just like all of the world to just get the most important things and run back into my cave. So how's it been? I don't love it. I love home, but I think we, especially what we do, I guess that we do so much traveling and performing and socializing with other musicians. Our essence of playing chamber music is by talking to each other with music next to each other. So this is a real discipline of opposition, opposite thing, and I find it, it's too bad because I love when I do all the concerts and travel. Home is an amazing, amazing place, and it's still amazing, and it saves me from trouble, I guess. But now I wish there was a better balance. Yeah. So you do what you have to do.
Have you had any like sort of surprising, nice events that happened around the house, like a flower that bloomed where you didn't expect it, or
well, yeah, actually,
red, or
this summer, because I'm surprisingly, totally surprised by that, not going anywhere. I have a small garden, the garden of a town of New York City garden kind of thing. It's not huge, but I am growing vegetables and kind of it's exciting. The yellow flowers are out. I'm smelling that. There are flowers for the peppers that I'm growing because I love peppers, mini peppers. The eggplant, being from the Middle East, we all love to make baba ganoush. So my eggplants are growing. There's only at this point flowers, it's early, but it's exciting and it's magic all its own. Nature is beautiful. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, that's great that you have that you can go outside and enjoy your garden a little bit. That's
yeah.
It's especially nice, in a time like this when, so much of the outside world is closed off to us effectively. You've got your own little refuge you can go to and you don't have to worry about anything. It's really nice.
Yeah. I know it's a blessing.
Yeah. So what music have you been turning to during this time? What have you been playing? What have you been listening to? What have you been studying? And what about books and movies and things like that? What have you been occupied?
So as far as I've been practicing because it's my nourishment. It's been a thing that I make it a routine every day. And unsurprisingly, Bach is my savior, and so we have 6 amazing sonatas, the partitas and the sonatas, and I spend a lot of time with them because they are solo. They're written for violin only. They're always a challenge. Every time I teach them or play them, they are a challenge, but they are the most soulful, spirited things I can ever turn to. And all the emotions pent up and all the fears, they're just kind of, they are all, Bach is there talking to me. I spend time with Bach, and I'm a little bit better balanced when I put the violin down afterwards. And I think it's for a lot of us this way, probably. And so this is with the music. I mean, I'm practicing some challenging other things like a concerto now that I never ever learned before. I'm spending some time on Prokofiev 1 and Strauss concerto.
Oh.
Yeah, not that I'll ever perform it, but it's like it's different. It's not the things I've done and performed. It's good. It's good for the brain and for the hands. And I'm, of course, here and there see some movies. So the other day, an old English movie is about running. PBS I think it was PBS, but it was a black and white, The Lonely Run, it's called. And it was about a person who comes in unprivileged home and ends up going to a disciplinary kind of school and philosophical stuff. It was very interesting, and it takes you away from necessarily what's happening. And of course, and I'm reading, I have this much. I was talking to a friend of mine. I have this huge amount of books that I am going to read through Corona, as I call it. So right now, my mother was influencing me because she was reading The Name of the Rose, and it's for her, it's like the third time she's reading it. And she said, Carmit, did you read it? And I said, actually, I never really read that book. And she said, before anything, go read history. Go and read Barbara Tuchman, Distant Mirror. So that's the book now that I'm reading. I'm reading Distant Mirror because Mom said so, and Mom knows best.
So tell us a little bit about what you are playing for us.
So it's the Bach C minor sonata for violin and pianoforte. It was before, it was for piano, and I played that before with harpsichord, actually, in years ago at the Santa Fe Festival. And I mean, you have all those sonatas. We have 6 sonatas, if I'm correct about those. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I played them in the past couple of years also with a harpist, Wow. Yeah, with Sivan Magen. And because he doesn't want to give up the sonatas. He wants to play them too. So I did, and they're very beautiful. It's funny, I was playing this, I'm playing this sonata, the first movement, the Largo, with my daughter. And she goes, isn't that like the St. Matthew Passion? It sounded, so that Largo is so close to sounding like the St. Matthew Passion, where the one, I can't pronounce the German for it, but it's with the singer.
Erbarme dich.
Yes.
Yeah. The big aria from the Matthew Passion.
It's kind of uncanny how close. It's not but the same, but it's similar. It's so heartful, and Amalia was loving it, just loving it. And of course, seeing Amalia loving it, she looked at it alone, and then let's play together. And it was such pleasure for me to share this. It's so much pleasure. I love it.
That must be really wonderful to be able to play music with a family member like that. I mean, how beautiful and wonderful that must be. My brother is a percussionist, and we have played a very, very, very few things together, but it's not been quite like that.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have the ability to play that kind of repertoire, so that's the only reason. It's just not
Instrument.
available to you in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so now she wants to learn the whole sonata.
Oh, great.
Which
Great.
is fine because it's really gorgeous, you know.
I love those 6 sonatas. I mean, I think they're just spectacular. In fact, one of the very first pieces of chamber music that I ever played was the second of those sonatas, the A major, which I find so incredibly beautiful. It just very touching, and has that wonderful slow canonic slow movement that's like, you know, one of the great things about Bach is that it has this formal rigor. I mean, it's really quite rigorous formally, and yet at the same time it's so deeply expressive.
Yeah.
And that canon is like you know, just kills you. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, you know, the with Bach, those sarabands that are in the violin, in the solo violin sonatas, and not just the violin sonatas, but the sarabands in particularly, are gripping, and they're full of grief, you know. And somehow we all need, sometimes, if we don't want to say any words, we just do those alone. It's most it's an intimate surrounding yourself, surrendering yourself to something very that you can feel, you know. It's beautiful, you know.
Yeah, one of our other artists who's playing one of these on this series,
Yes.
friend Adrian, the bassoon player, he said exactly the same thing. He played a saraband, and I played a saraband also, because they just say it all, don't they?
Yeah. And you know, it's funny, you know, when I teach, I mean, saraband is actually a South American dance. You know, I mean, I read that when I was teaching. I had to read and understand what I'm looking at. But, you know, it evolved enough. And Bach, you know, you have to feel the lilt with it, but it's still, they usually are melancholic. They have this sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to really look forward to hearing that in a moment after our interview. And I'm hoping to see you really soon, Carmit, because we're going to go on a big bike ride together here in New York.
Very exciting, yes. Yeah. And Jeff, I'm sorry I can't do that, not even, or at least have a lunch on your boat, but...
wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. So,
well, I'm really looking forward to the day when we can be back together and hang out, exchange books, talk all our stories, play music together, and just be together. And it'll be, you know, hopefully won't be too terribly long before that can happen. And I really look forward to that day.
But when it does, we're going to be so happy.
Yes.
We're going to be like, ah!
I know. Absolutely, you know. I look forward to it too. Amen. Let it happen. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Carmit. And
nice talking to you guys.
Nice talking to you.
Bye.
Bye.
Here. Bye.
Bye-bye.